Hi guys, welcome back to the ROH show with Kirsty Graham. I know this is well overdue. I had recorded it, I had everything all planned out, everything was great. Then I went to fucking edit it and the file was corrupted and I had 4 days of 12-hour shifts, so I had no time to fucking record it. So here we are, it's fucking 5 past 12 in the morning. But we're going to get this recorded and actually get it out, and I very fucking much apologise for the wait, guys, but we are talking about, of course, Ring of Honour, Supercard of Honour, the show of the fucking year for ROH. I loved this fucking show. I'm just going to say it right out the bat. I loved this show. 10 out of 10 would absolutely recommend. But we're going to get into all of that, and because I have about 15 pages of notes, we're just going to dive right in and not fuck about too much. There was a cute little opener, like a lovely little opening segment that had, as usual, it has all of the old champions. It had Joe, it had Punk, it had Tyler, Seth, it had Nigel, it had Daniel Bryan, everybody, Adam Cole, all of those people. And yeah, there wasn't any like introduction, there was no somebody in the middle of the ring being like, welcome to Supercard of Honour. It was, here's your first match, guys, which was Chucky T versus Jonathan Gresham. It was a nice, really easy opener, 10-15 minutes at most. Trent was on the outside with, obviously out with Chucky T, but he didn't get involved for the entire like little match. He was just there being supportive and injured, I think. Get better soon, Trent. There was like nice little, it was just an easy opener, but it was like nice little spots. There was like a roll up into like an ankle lock that looked really sick, like a counter. Jonathan Gresham got most of the offense in for this, like 90%, and then just out of nowhere, Chucky T got a cradle roll up win. It was nice, it was fun, the crowd were into it, but it was nothing spectacular, unfortunately. But yeah, Code Honour was adhered to, everything was nice. Then we went straight on to the second match, which I was here for. I was so here for this match. I just the idea of it. It was Punishment Martinez versus Ishii, who is the Rev Pro champion, but this was not a title match. Punishment got really put over during this match. It was just two big guys beating the shit out of each other, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. But yeah, I didn't expect Punishment to go over as much as he did, but Ishii really put him over, which, to be fair, he's coming into ROH, he's coming out to put over the ROH guy, which is fair enough. But Punishment won off of a choke slam. And I was like, I was not expecting, I was shook as fuck. I genuinely thought Ishii was coming in to just beat the shit out of him and leave, but that's not what happened. And then we went on to match 3, and match 3 was what I was here for. Oh, like, now like, when you look at a card and you're like, I'm excited for the whole card, but I'm excited for this, and this. Adam Page versus Kota Ibushi was what I was here for, and I think that's what everybody else was. As soon as they realised this match was happening on match 3, that crowd was so ready. It was hungry for this match, and they were hot as fuck, and it just made it so good. But yeah, they pointed out at the start of this match that it had been almost 10 years since Kota Ibushi was last in ROH. Why has it been that long? Why have I had to be looking elsewhere for him, ROH? Because he fits perfectly into everything that ROH does. So why has it been, can we make sure it's not another 10 years, please? Please and thank you. That would be lovely, ROH. Not that I can't see him everywhere else, because wrestling's everywhere just now, but it's not the point. It's my favourite promotion. Keep Kota coming, please and thank you. Adam kept calling Kota a homewrecker, as if he was wrecking Bullet Club that was a family, and just ruined everything. And I was like, no sir, no, Cody, your pal Cody's wrecking everything for everybody. Don't be blaming Kota. Don't do it. Commentary also during this match really put over that if Adam is the next big thing like he says he is, he should be able to beat Kota. Not that Kota is easy to beat. They were trying to like not put Kota over, but they were saying that if you're that good as you think you are right now, you should be able to beat him. And it wasn't for a lack of trying, because about a minute and a half to maybe 2.5 minutes in, there was a standing shooting star press. And Kota, surprisingly, after the little first exchange, he was the one to slow everything down, which I don't expect from Kota. Kota is your fast-paced, fast-striking, fast flippy-do brilliance that I love. But he slowed it down, and I think he realised because Adam was so hot and like he was keeping up with him, he's like, nah, I'll change it up, we'll slow it down. Bet you're not prepared for this, bitch. Paige kept getting booed when he was showboating, but then cheered when he was doing stuff, and this crowd just didn't. They were like, we should boo him, we don't want him to win, but we love him. It was beautiful. I love when a crowd gets played like this, myself included. There was like a pump handle counter into a bridge thing. It was just beautiful. I wrote down it was a chess-like match, because like with the momentum, it was just swinging. It was like your move, my move, your move. It was lovely. Paige goes for a triangle moonsault and he misses it, but then jumps up onto the barricade and tries to do his moonsault, but Kota follows him up onto the barricade, and they do. He does his suplex, and I don't know how Adam got himself flipped over, because he landed like awkwardly, like on his shoulder. He seemed to be fine. Fingers crossed that he is. Both of them are, but it just, you know how sometimes when moves happen for a split second, you think that they're going to die. You're like, oh, death's coming, and then it doesn't. Like Lita's moonsault most of the time, you're like, oh, she's fine. It was very that. But yeah, he hits the German, both of them nearly die. Kota then hits the triangle moonsault, and as he comes down on the triangle moonsault, he sort of rolls through and stands back up, and it just looked so fucking sweet. Yeah, Paige also gets back up on his feet. He counters. I've not wrote down what. Kota runs at him. I remember that much, and he tries to do something. But I've wrote down Paige counters into almost into a cradle tombstone. And then there was a backdrop onto the apron, and then another top rope moonsault into a false finish. Like this is how this match went. Like I knew getting these two together, it was just going to be pandemonium, and it was great in the best fucking sense. I absolutely loved this match. Kota's suplexes are beautiful, also. Just saying. And yeah. So there was a fight forever chant, and it wasn't the last one of the night. It was only match 3, but holy shit, was it deserved. And I usually don't like fight forever chants, because it just feels like a copy, but I suppose like the this is awesome chants and that, eventually it will just feel like a chant, but you know. They then just get into this slap fest with each other. They were just done. They'd thrown everything at each other at this point. Adam kicked out of a golden press. Kota then kneed him directly in the face twice, and Kota wins, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It was incredibly fast paced. It was fun. It kept everybody in that crowd alive. It was just, the commentary even putting it over were just sublime. They put over the fact that despite that Adam hadn't won, like they said they had to, there was no shame in this loss because he fought so hard and proved what he was worth, kind of thing. So that was good. I love Colt and Ian together. Like at first it was kind of weird, but obviously over time they've just kind of smoothed out. They know their roles, they know what they're doing, and everything's always just crisp. And I really, really fucking love it. The next match was the finals of the Women of Honour tournament for the brand new shiny purple title that I'm all here for. It's beautiful. Apparently, I never seen them, but apparently on Facebook Live they had the semis that they still had to do, like before the pay-per-view started. So Sumi won her match against, I think she was against Tenille, and Kelly won her match as well, so that meant that coming out for the final was Kelly Clean and Sumi. So they cut in and they show a little package of what had basically happened, and apparently after Sumi won her match, Kelly went out and attacked her basically and then ran away. So they showed that little package. They then showed Daphne at ringside, which I was really excited for because Daphne's a proper OG. Colt brought up the fact that Daphne used to manage her and stuff. Like, it was I thought they weren't going to bring that up, but they did, and it was really nice. She was basically just there as I was also here to help the women get to this point. Commentary really fired home that it took them 16 years to get a women's title. That's ridiculous, ROH. I love you, but 16 years? It's not like they didn't have women in ROH. It just took them an awfully fucking long time. But we're here now. So, of course, Kelly comes out. They're talking about the fact that it's been almost 600 days since she's been beaten. She's never been beaten. She's undefeated. That she didn't have to go for that cheat shot kind of thing. And then Sumi comes out and she's not fucking about. Not after what happened earlier on. She goes straight after Kelly. Kelly shuts her down with a German suplex, but there was then a suplex on the outside with a roll through, and the end of the match submission that Kelly has, and the rest, like, you can't win out here, like, get her back in the ring. But she didn't hold on to it, looked like too long, just long enough to do damage. So then she gets her back into the ring, and Sumi does this, like, school girl power bomb, but it's like almost rolling through it. It was the weirdest thing, but I really liked it because it looked really slick. Kelly then kind of like stood up and slammed her in return because, you know, she's fucking crazy and I love her. There was then like a Fisher, the commentary put it as Fisher woman, like swing, and that was caught through into a wheelbarrow, and then obviously again Kelly slams Sumi. There's a theme in this match. So they're both down, and then all of the women, like, of honour, all of the roster women and Daphne all surround the ring, and it almost looks as if it's going to be like a lumberjack match, but they never like really say that. They're just all kind of out watching to see where their first champion's going to be, and you can clearly tell, like, none of them want Kelly to, she's the heel, none of them want Kelly to win, so they're all cheering on and banging on the canvas. They're all banging on the canvas and cheering on Sumi. That kind of helps her to get back to her feet. Sumi get into it, and the crowd really end up getting into it at this point as well. Sumi then goes for a top rope moonsault, and then there's like a weird scuffle, and then Sumi like slams her again, and Sumi wins. And this was another result I have said from basically the beginning. I was like, Kelly's probably going to win. If it's going to be anybody that takes it off her, it's either going to be Mandy, but she already bet Mandy, or it's going to be like Tenille. I had this really weird feeling they were going to bring Tenille straight in and like have her take the title, but it was really nice to see them not do the obvious thing and give it to Kelly, but to make the streak mean something. Like, it was this, everybody thought she was the favourite to win. And then in comes a little babyface Sumi, who's like a veteran and like fought her way through. It was a really nice story, even throughout the match. Everybody gets in to hug her, but hug her and congratulate her, and like she doesn't want to celebrate before Kelly's seen to, because Kelly kind of looks knocked the fuck out. And then she kind of comes to, and I was like, Kelly's attacking her. Like something has to happen. But she doesn't. Kelly just sat there looking kind of stunned, as if, what the fuck just happened? Like, how? And then as it kind of sunk in, because it kept going back to her as she was celebrating and hugging everyone in and outside, and it kept turning around to her, and she just looked between baffled and like disgusted with herself. Sumi then brought all of the women in, and like she bowed to them. They all held up her arms. She had the title. It looked so pretty. It's purple. It's the most pretty. Code of Honour was adhered to, which again, it's almost as if they're going to go from Kelly being this badass bitch to this suddenly humbling her. And I'm really interested to see where this goes. So kudos to this. We finally have a female Women of Honour champion. Yes, more of this. So then we go on. Again, there's no like in between cutty bits. There's just a video package for each match and straight into it. Six-man tag team championships between the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon against SoCal Uncensored. And again, this was one of those matches that I was here for. Give it to me. Oh, and it was a ladder match, so the belts are hanging up, and fuck me, was this one of the, every time any incarnation of Kaz and Daniels and the Young Bucks get into a ladder match, it's just one of the best fucking things you've ever seen in your life. I fucking loved this. Whew, I shouldn't be shouting, it's quite late, but yes. So they do the little background package, and then it cuts, and Shane Taylor's coming on commentary, and I was like, no, not again, we're not, no. But then he comes on commentary and he says that, like, we hope that you're not out here to then, like, interfere. They call him out on it straight away. And Shane's like, no, I wasn't paid for that tonight. I'm paid to do commentary, so I'm going to do commentary. And I was just like, it's bullshit. I don't believe it for a second. But I'll tell you about it in a minute. But he doesn't get involved. He stays there like, it's not my business. I'm not being paid to be involved in that, so I ain't involved. And I like the fact that he's basically for hire, and if he has no alliances. I really like it because you never know. Like, the entire time I could hear him going, he's going to interfere at some point, like real fucking soon he's going to interfere, but nope. Not mad about it though. So, as usual with any of these six-man tag matches that involve the Bucks, I've just put all the spots, because for the first 5 minutes, there's no way I can write and watch and keep up with what's going on. I tried, but it was one of probably the most fast-paced match. Maybe not, we'll get on to it. But like easily one of the most fast-paced match of the night. And yep. So everybody's like flying out of the ring. Everybody's doing all sorts of fucking things that was just awesome. And you're like, how are you going to continue on the rest of this match? But somehow they do. They're professionals. Matt does a spear on the outside at one point, and it was the weirdest looking fucking spear that I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why. It wasn't wrongly done. I don't know what it was. I don't know how I felt about it. I don't know. We'll move on. Everybody again is still flipping to the outsides. There's then flips on a ladder, I'm sure, at the top, and a cutter is done off of it. It was Flip, and I'm sure it was Kaz. Does a cutter from the top of the thing onto the, it looked awful. Then the Bucks get in, they kind of clear like everything out, and then there's a ladder through the two corners that make a turnbuckle, and it is Daniels is lying out on it because that's where the Bucks have put him, and then they get Flip up. Flip's recovered from the mighty fall, and they like assist him into a flip over them. They're in the middle of the ring. They like assist him up, and he does this 450 into the turnbuckle corner sandwich looking fucking thing that Daniels is on, and 450s him. And in all of my years in wrestling, I might be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen that spot. And I didn't realise that all the Bucks really ever needed was another flippy-doo motherfucker, but like, keep Flip keep Flip forever, teach him all of the things, because he is so fucking good, and just, he so naturally fit, right, and because of all the matches he's had against the Bucks, he already knew how to work with them. Clearly they had a lot of ideas for interpreting them in, and it was just lovely. We then have, after that, Kaz gets up and does the helicopter ladder spot, and he hits Matt, he hits Nick, and then he goes to hit Flip, and Flip does his like kip up thing that he does, but like even delaying them in that weird fucking position so that he never hit him. It was great. Then there was a triple super kick, because Matt and Nick get up and he kicks him in the knee, he drops down, and then they all super kick him. It was lovely. Then Nick swan-toned Scorpio Sky onto a ladder that Nick was holding up. No, Matt was holding the ladder up, like, so it was on the ropes coming out. Matt was holding it, and Nick done a swanton. And then, SoCal then changed up what they were doing. They isolated everybody. They were taking out all of the Flip and Young Bucks. They need a name, like, as a three, they need a name. But Flip then countered it, then hit an assisted sliced bread. Matt wasn't doing a lot of flips because that spot they do when somebody's sitting, like, on their bum, and then they do the back flip and then the drop kick. Nick done that, but Matt only done the drop kick, and they're still selling this back issue that he has. He's still wearing the heavyweight lifting belt that Cody got them, but Nick wasn't wearing his. But yeah, they're not doing a whole load of that. Then they got a ladder in, and then they got a cease and desist, the submission that they both do, through the ladder rung. Just nonsense in the best possible way. Then they just started throwing ladders at each other, and I mean, like, just lifting them, closing them, and just throwing them, the way Cody's kind of just been throwing chairs at people. That kind of happened with ladders in this, and I don't understand the need, but it looks vicious, and I suppose it works because it worries me. Flip done a weird, he does that thing where he like gets up onto like the turnbuckle, and then he like does the like bomb out onto the outside, but he kind of lost balance, and so sort of I ended up it was the weirdest little botch. He was fine, well, I hope he was fine, but he wrestled the rest of the match, so I'm assuming he's fine, but it was just the weirdest, funniest little looking thing. I was like, oh son, like, I bet he's done it 1,000 times, and just this one's just lost his balance, but he still managed to like just about hit it. So but then obviously Nick sees that, so then Nick does a flip over the top rope to take everybody out like properly, so they recovered well. Then they're going for the titles, and red balloons just appear, and I was like, oh hell no, we just got rid of the Shane Taylor problem, we don't need any Vinny or the Kingdom showing up. But show up they did, and it wasn't illegal, so show up they did and fucked up everything. So yeah, they came out with purple camo on, because obviously on the Go Home show, Bully was talking about how they weren't needed, they weren't booked, they didn't have to show up. So with the purple camo, the commentary were telling us, like we needed it, that they were calling out Bully basically, but Bully hadn't been, like, Bully wasn't showing up, and commentary made a point to point out the fact that Bully hadn't showed up, and obviously the night before he had been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I instantly was just like, have WWE told him he's not allowed to do Supercard of Honor? But anyway, they do a supernova on Flip. They try to go for the titles. The Young Bucks and Flip are all working together to take them out, because obviously they want the titles. So they end up getting them all out of the ring, but they go and fucking fucked everything up anyway. So then they just ended up fighting each other. It was the Young Bucks and Kaz and Scorpio. stereo drop kicks. Again, there was still no bully. The commentary were still really putting that over. The fact that like bully has always been like, that's been bully's thing, is he's been coming out to anybody who's been interfering in matches. He's the enforcer. That's his point. But he still hadn't showed up. So then everybody was on the ladders, and then like on 6 different fucking ladders all around the titles, and there was a Kinder surprise, and then Kaz to Scorpio flipped off, then Kaz kicked Flip, and Flip like went to fall, but his head moved and it looked as if it banged off of the side of the like top of the ladder. Oh, my stomach turned so much. You guys know how I feel about the banging of heads. I just felt physically sick watching it, because then he just fell to the ground. He still bumped, but the poor child. Everybody was taken. So yeah, the spots where everybody was getting taken out off the ladders. But then Flip goes and he takes most of the like ladders out of the ring, because there was just too many. But then he goes and gets the biggest fucking ladder he could find, and the commentary are like, because he couldn't quite reach, because he's a shorter guy and is a tiny little lady. Me too, Flip. Me fucking too. There was then a cutter onto the apron, and then Nick and Flip set up 2 tables in this formation, like there were corners touching. They then put various people onto tables, and then they went up onto the turnbuckles, done the "we're crazy" thing, and then in unison done a double 450 on the outside through tables, and it was one of the most beautiful looking things I have ever seen. More of this, please. And again, not having Matt there sells like the fact that Matt's back's injured. Christopher Daniels then went up the ladder. Matt chased him up. He then took off his heavy weightlifting belt and just started whipping Christopher Daniels with it, and the sound was just sickening. It was lovely. Christopher Daniels falls. Matt goes to go for the title, and Christopher Daniels pushed the ladder like over, to which Matt then goes through another table that had been set up that had, I think it was Vinny. Yeah, Vinny was on the table when that, I can't even remember, I haven't wrote down when that got set up, and I don't remember when he ended up there, but he waited a while evidently, and the spot happened, so that, yep. Christopher Daniels then pulls the ladder back in after it's been tipped onto the top rope, and goes up the ladder and grabs the belts. SoCal Uncensored wins. I'm fine with this. I'm not fine with interference, but I was fine with it. But then Tavern comes in and literally robs the titles from Christopher Daniels' hands, gets the other 2, and fucks off and robs them, like literally robs them from under his nose. And the crowd were just kind of like, and then everybody starts kind of getting up, and the crowd just started clapping. Like, they were just like, this was fucking insane, and none of it had to happen. We just put on a damn good fucking show, and we appreciate the shit out of it. Just started clapping like we were in goddamn Japan. It was beautiful. Christopher Daniels is evidently livid and is screaming about Matt Tavern into the monitor, into the camera. And yeah, I've wrote, Shane stayed on commentary like promised, and Shane just was talking about it the entire time, and he was like, oh, it's a shame what's happening, but it's not my problem. And I was like, well played, sir. Well fucking played. Yeah, we move on to match 6. It's Lethal and Tanahashi versus the Briscoes for a tag team title match. Yeah. Tanahashi, J and J. Both J's start. Their history is mentioned about like best in the world, about the ROH title belt, all of that good stuff. That happened last year and the year before, I want to say. Yeah, because they done it. Yeah. So they just kind of go in and just start beating the shit out of each other for a couple of minutes, as they do generally. Tanahashi tags in, and so does Mark. Tanahashi then copies Mark's redneck kung fu pose, and Mark spits in his face because that's the appropriate reaction. He then goes for the redneck kung fu thing, but Tanahashi catches his leg and then dragon screw whips him. And yeah, it was lovely. There was then a somersault senton from Tanahashi. And him and Jay then proceeded to have like a nice little spot where they stuck to their corner and they just kept like tagging in, doing some shit, tagging in, doing some shit together, tagging in, and keeping Mark really fucking isolated, which I love in tag team matches, because in a legit contest, if it was two guys on each side, that would be the smart thing to do, not let him near his corner. I never understand when matches are just all over the fucking place. So the fact that they cut off the corner and they kept him in like their side, yes. Lost my place now. The Briscoes then, once they get the tag, eventually, obviously, they change the pace because they realise what's happening isn't working for them, it's working more to Jay and Tanahashi's strengths, advantage. They slowed everything right down, but then they get into the mistake of having a striking match with Tanahashi, and that wasn't working out so well either, but Jay and Jay ended up, and again, both Jays, again, and they kind of heat things up, but not in terms of fastening it up, just striking again, just, there's such intensity between the two of them because of the history. There's like this personal rivalry for who's best, and it is just, it's a lovely, well told story that every time they're on the ring together, they make sure that like this is what we do, regardless of what's going on round about. They just know each other so well, so everything's also really smoothly done. A hail to the king gets countered, and then Lethal off of that counter gets a figure 4. Tanahashi takes out Mark and goes up. Tanahashi takes out Mark and then tries to go up to go for something. We don't really see what he goes for. But then Mark knocks him off and goes for the froggy splash. And lethal injection happens, but false finish. I was mad as fuck. I really thought that was the end at that point. It was a really late kick out as well, because even the crowd started chanting that was 3, and the ref was like, no, it's 2. But it wasn't 2, like, this close. Lethal injection was countered again into a German suplex, then a Doomsday was hit. The Briscoes retained. Didn't expect Tanahashi to end up with tag titles in ROH, because I don't think he's planning on sticking around for that long. So yeah, no surprise there, but it was a really fucking nice match, and I was happy with it. Love all of them. So match 7 was basically a blood feud, because again it just goes straight on. And it's Kenny King versus Silas Young for the TV title match, and it's the last man standing match. And they showed a little video package that I've already spoke about, because this feud, as much as I wasn't here for it to begin with, they fucking won me over with it. But then out comes Austin Aries again. Hi pal, so excited, with 4, maybe 5 belts, and he's saying that was an impressive package. I love him. I love that he's just always ready to hit a dig in at something. He was like, and I would know all about impressive packages. He had a banana in his pocket, to which Colt said, that's Austin Aries. And he has a banana in his pocket, and it, until it swung round, I thought something else was being mentioned, but it wasn't. So he's talking about being the belt collector, and that he wants to add the TV title to his impressive collection. And then he announces that he's going to be in commentary. And if I wasn't excited about this match enough, having Austin Aries blethering away to me while it happened got me so excited. So he goes down onto commentary, and then Silas comes out next with 2 trash cans that are evidently full of things to just beat the shit out of Kenny King with. And I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. We've just had that match. But, okay. So Silas comes out with all of it. And then he puts them down and starts setting up tables. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's not even started yet, but you're already like, nah, I'm going to fucking kill him. Like, this is my match. It's a last man standing match, and I know what I've got to do to win said matches. Don't fuck with Silas, people. Yeah. Aries was talking in the background about him and Kenny and about their history and how they're friends, but it wasn't personal, that he was calling out whoever wins the match because it's about business, it's about wrestling, and the two of them understand that. And I was like, okay. Yeah, so then Kenny obviously comes out, and again they start off having a wrestling match. I have really loved seeing those two in submission type, amateur wrestling type wrestling matches, because it's not something, apart from when they're together, it's not something you see. And when it's a last man standing match, it's not what you expect to see, but they're really good together doing it. Kenny, near the start, goes for the last chancery, which is obviously a kick in the teeth to Austin, and Austin's like, nah, he's just answering my questions, so I guess if he wins. But he's also then goes on, he's like, he has no technique with that at all. I'll need to talk to him because that's awful, just buries it. But he's like, I'll deal with it later kind of thing. And I just love Austin. Austin Aries is one of my fucking favourite people. Yeah, and then, so after the last chancery, Silas kind of gets up and picks up Kenny and literally just dumps him over the top rope through the table that he had set up. And I was like, I see, there was no time to set that up in between what you had planned. But it just looked fucking not awful as in it looked badly done, it just looked horrific to go through. You just dropped him and let gravity do the rest. But yeah, he then got out, threw Kenny into the guardrail. He breaked his back, but then Kenny got a royal flush over a bin that had been put in at one point. The crowd then started chanting, "Move bitch, get out the way," because Kenny had shouted at a cameraman who was in his way, which was lovely. What wasn't lovely, on the other hand, was Beer City Bruiser just fucking appearing like, Silas, this is your match, you don't need him, no. So then Beer City Bruiser's getting all fucking up and everything, and then commentary were saying to Austin, why don't you go help him? You said he was your friend, and he's like, aye, but I'm not dressed for it, I'm in a suit, I can't go down there. Kenny, would you want that? And I was just like, that's too much. But commentary again brought up Bully not being there, because usually when this happens, Bully has screwed over Silas quite a few times. So why wasn't in it? It was really I remember thinking, if Bully actually wasn't allowed to be there at all anymore, if he had to stop being maybe it was just for that night, is what I was thinking. Pardon me. So, but the fact I was like, why are they bringing it up? But anyway, there's a top. Kenny goes for a top rope shooting star press onto the outside through a table, and he's lying on the ground. And then a hand comes out from under the ring, because at this point, Bruiser disappeared, but Bruiser was under the ring. And then he put zip ties on Kenny's legs. So the ref comes out to count. Silas kind of struggles to get up, but gets up. But Kenny couldn't get up because his legs had been tied together. It was very, what year was that? Extreme Rules, I'm sure, was the pay-per-view, and it was John Cena and Batista. And Batista, John duct taped, I think it was, Batista's legs to the ring post so that he couldn't stand. It was very that. Because again, Kenny loses the title. And Silas Young is your new champion, and I was raging. I was like, you fucking little shit. I thought we were going to get the end of this feud, and it was going to be an all-out fucking mess of a brawl, and not to say there wasn't some shit that happened in it that was a bit like, this isn't the end of the feud, this isn't where we're finishing. So then, after the match, they're beating Kenny up, who can't stand up because his legs are zip-tied together. And then, Austin then takes off his suit jacket and puts down all his titles. And then he runs down and saves them after the match. And I'm like, why? But he saves them. But it was so funny because once Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young fuck off with the title, Kenny's looking down at his feet and looking at Austin and going, what was I meant to do? Like, what is this? And he looks absolutely livid, great facials, but then he has to start bunny hopping to try and get away. And I don't know the last time I laughed so hard, because it was the contrast of a fully grown fucking athletic man bunny hopping with looking livid. There was just, I really hope there's gifs of it because I want to save them forever. It was fucking hysterical. But yeah, the commentary also put over told the fact that Silas is only the 4th person ever to be a 2-time TV champion, so that's cool. But yeah, so then we go on to match 8, which is Cheeseburger and Eli Empson, who is apparently a Future of Honor, like, dojo little guy. I actually do think I've seen him on like some of the stuff, so I knew who he was. And then that was versus the Dogs, and this match wasn't announced. This just kind of get put on the card at some point, which was fine. I love Cheeseburger. I like the Dogs. I wasn't opposed to it. So then they came. Cheeseburger and Eli came out, and they're like, hi, like being fucking baby faces. And then the Dogs come out and cheap shot the shit out of them. The bell doesn't ring. There's a chair shot to a knee against the ring post because they pull Eli like legs first. They do the dick spot to hurt this. They do the thing, and then they hit his knee with a chair, and then out comes Bully. Finally, were you fucking late, sir? What the fuck was going on? But yeah, Bully comes out. And he's like, you guys, talking to the Dogs, he's like, you guys are a couple of scumbags. Because you could have, like, you didn't have a match tonight. We put you on the card. And instead of coming out and having a really good match and proving yourself and going on in the tag team like championships and going forward and doing shit, you decide to just come out and like not do what you're meant to do and just cheat and be assholes and think that that's going to help. He then turns to Cheeseburger and says to Cheeseburger, if you can't find a tag team partner, then this match can't happen. Because like that's been Cheeseburger's whole thing, is he had to find a partner and then found one in Eli. So then Cheeseburger tries to recruit Bully. He's like, well, you're here, you wrestle, you went into the Hall of Fame last night. And Bully's like, okay. So then like they do all of the Bully 3D spots. They go for the what's up. I don't even ever know what that is. The headbutt to the dick spot. Bully then like slaps him in the chest and he's like, Cheeseburger, get the tables. And Cheeseburger, you could just see in his face, was so happy. Like, I think it was one of those moments for him where he was like it's one of those things as fans that you think, like, imagine being in that spot, like, and for him to be there, you could see it in his face, it was fanboying, it was lovely. To which then Bully grabs him by the throat and slams him into the ground with the biggest fucking heel turn that has happened all night. And I literally wrote heel turn ? What the fuck is happening? Wasn't there for half the night, now he's fucking beating up Cheeseburger. What's your deal, sir? Billy then gets a mic and he's like, who the hell do you think you are? How dare you put me in the spot, kind of thing. Like, who are you to ask me for all of these people and make me look bad, as if, like, if I say no, so I've got to do this for you? Who do you think you are? Also, side note, the TNA run of Billy being the do you know who I am? Favourite fucking Billy maybe ever. Like, fucking love him. So when he said, do you know who I am? I was like, yes I do, and I'm here for this. Tell me you're going to be like a full-time roster member. Because I remember thinking at the start of this segment, I was like, once you go into the Hall of Fame, you're not allowed to do matches elsewhere on TV anymore? Question mark. Like, I know that used to be a thing, but has that changed? Because he was technically in a match, even if he turned, like, heel. Because, like, people who have watched ROH for a long fucking ass time will remember when, like, Steamboat and Mick Foley were, like, showing up round about the Joe Punk time. And they weren't allowed to have a match, so they were calling them exhibitions, because they weren't allowed to advertise it as a match. And granted, that was about 10 years ago, so the rules might have changed, but I always thought that, like, because when Kurt cancelled all his matches to go into the Hall of Fame, obviously he's now on Raw, but, like, is that still a thing? Am I wrong? Please let me know, because I was very confused, but I also really want Billy properly heel in ROH. Anyway, he starts then shouting at Cheeseburger, you're what's wrong with the wrestling business, you and all of your kind. You're selfish, you're spoiled, you're entitled. Guys like you, guys like Will Ospreay, guys like Flip Gordon, guys like that Nobody Ricochet, which I'm not sure of the timing of both of these, but this could very well have been during Ricochet's NXT debut, like, only a short place away, and I was like, oh, you've just been inducted and you might be breaking the rules and now you're going to be burying younger talent that's just, oh, you're lucky your tag team partners over there and being cool. Not that I think Billy cares that much anyway, but, and he probably got permission the night before, but we'll look past that. He said, you're all the same, you all destroyed the wrestling industry, you don't belong here. Then Joe Koff comes down and he calls him an old bastard and asks him what he's gonna do. He's like, you couldn't get in this ring, you old bastard. So then Flip Gordon comes down, he's like, you're going to call me out, motherfucker, and goes to get in the ring. And then Billy takes poor Cheeseburger fucking hostage after beating the shit out of him and says, you, and then he says he's going to pile drive him if Flip takes one more step, moves one more muscle, does one more fucking thing, he's going to powerbomb the shit out of him. And he's like, do you know who I am? That was the moment I marked the fuck out. I was like, yes! He's like, I'm Billy Ray, a WWE Hall of Famer. And the heat that got, and even Colt and Ian were like, well, fucking go over there then. Like, on you go back to WWE. We don't need you. Put down Cheeseburger. I like when serious things like this happen that should be shocking, that even the colour commentators join in and being disgusted. Little side note, but I always appreciate when even when the colour commentary goes, oh no, but they were outraged. The heat from the crowd was fucking unreal as well. And then he pile drives them anyway and fucks off. And Flip goes in to try and help him. Like, everybody goes in to help him. Joe is telling Flip, he's like, we'll get this sorted kind of thing. And then it just kind of cuts away. And they talk about, they put their video package up for Kenny and Cody. And oh my, like, they just were like, here, have 5. And then, like, once they came back, everybody kind of like reset and taking a minute. They were still shook, but like, the show must go on. So then match 9 hits. It's a long night. Like, I can't believe there was more than 9 fucking 9 matches, but like, oh my god. And Cody Kenny was what everybody was here for. And I remember seeing as well, I remember being shocked because on the card I'd seen posted, now I don't know if it was ever meant to be the actual order or if this was just how it had been listed, but I'd seen that Cody and Kenny were the main event. And then obviously if you flip over to NXT, which was basically what it was competing with that night, even in the town they were in, because people could easily walk from one to another to see whatever matches they wanted. I was wondering, because I thought when I watched NXT that they'd put Gargano and Ciampa on last to counter the Cody and Kenny match, so that it was a blood feud v blood feud. And I was like, right, okay, so when ROH then moved this one back, I was like, how many times did the match order change? Because yous were trying to compete with each other. Like, I don't know if ROH started earlier or NXT or whatever, I don't know. But like, I just remember being like, But ROH done the right thing and they put the world title match at the end because that's where it goes. So yeah, Cody and Kenny. Wrestling has more than one royal family. It still makes me happy. And I thought it was Buddy that had come out. Buddy the Bear. It wasn't Buddy the Bear. It was Bernard the business bear. And it was Buddy with a suit, with a shirt on and a tie. Obviously Brandy comes out. Both of them come out in a lovely gold colour, which I thought was just fucking awesome. Cody had an eye patch as well. Why does everybody have eye patches right now? Stop fucking hitting each other on the eyes. They are precious. But yeah, he takes it off anyway, but he comes out looking like a goddamn gold fucking pirate or some shit. He was given a talk to the bear at one point, being like, you're a business bear, be a business bear, don't get involved. You know, as if we believe you, Cody. We don't believe you. You're fucking crazy. Gave the bear a handshake, takes the eye patch off, and then Omega's music hits, and the fucking pop, all 6,000 people in there that night, fucking blew the roof off the place. It was insane. But yeah, out comes Kenny. All of the fucking streamers, he couldn't walk at one point. Like he couldn't step because of the goddamn streamers were all tangled up in him, which I always think is hilarious because the wrestlers seem to fucking hate the streamers, but they're such a good visual, and it's like, you're the most over, we love you, we're throwing things at you. Anyway, so yeah, all of the streamers. Cody's showboating as usual because that's what he does, you know. And then yeah, after all of his showboating, the bell rings, and before anything even happens, there's a holy shit chant. Like, people were just like, it's actually happening, like, finally this fucking match is happening, and they were so happy to just be there as fans to witness this match happen, and I don't blame them. It was, I just love when the crowd's that excited that they just start chanting for nothing. They're just like, yes. Cody kisses Brandy, and for some reason this made me think, why is Kota not out in Kenny's corner? Kenny probably doesn't want him to get hurt. There's probably a lot of reasons that you could argue for this, but yeah, that's what I wrote down. There was then a fuck you Cody chant, just in case people weren't aware where everybody was standing on this. They locked up. Rise of the Terminator was stopped by the fucking bear that wasn't to get involved. Kenny then does, like, Cody's on the opposite side, the bear's on this side. As he runs to do the Rise of the Terminator, the bear grabs his leg and then, like, turns away and turns his back as if didn't do anything. So then Kenny then runs back to almost where Cody is and then does the Rise of the Terminator, but kicks the bear's head clean off to the point that somebody in the crowd ended up sitting with this bear head on for like the remainder of the match, and they had to, the camera wouldn't show who it is, and I haven't seen anybody like say, oh, it was such and such that was under it. To be honest, I haven't looked, but I'm assuming somebody, if it was an actual wrestler, then somebody has said it somewhere. You probably already know. Let me know that too, guys. But yeah, took the bear's head clean off. They got the bear out of there without us seeing who it was. The bear got kicked out. Cody is, they then get in the ring and have a few exchanges, and Cody starts doing push-ups while Kenny's like laid out, and I was like, bad man. It's just frustrating, and I want to slap him, but I love him. It makes it hard to love him and support what he's doing. I can't. But yeah, I've just wrote down he's the biggest fucking heel, because he is. Cody then does the gold dust thing. That was awful, I'm sorry. And then shuts it down and flips off the crowd, and as if that crowd wasn't hot enough, Cody knows how to keep a crowd just simmering before boiling point. Like, it just enrages people, and even when you're there, you're like, I want to kill you. Now granted, people shouldn't be jumping the barrier, because I've heard that's happened a few times. Fuck you fans, you're being well worked, you're being worked into a fucking shoot, stop. But he just pulls emotion straight out of you, and it's just, yes, I just, but yeah, does that, flips everybody off, and then scoop slams Kenny as he runs at him. The crowd were so hot for this. There was a submission attempt. Kenny got to the ropes. Kenny gets to the ropes, and Brandy's screaming at him, and then she just slaps him. And the refs look at her like, stop it, you, like this ref was on top of everything, on point tonight. And then while the ref's still looking at her, Cody shouts, throw me the gimmick. And I'm like, you motherfucker. So then she throws something at him, and I don't even know what it was. I never properly seen it, but the ref clearly sees her do it, and then takes it off of him, goes to put it down, to which he then low blows fucking Kenny, and I was like, there's just no stopping this man's fuckery. He has an answer to all of the fucking rules and doing the right. It's just, he's fucking great, and I love him so much. He low blows him, and then he rolls to the outside. Kenny rolls to the outside. Brandy kicks him while he's done, and then literally just walks over him, standing on his back, and I was just like, the ref then tells her to get off him, because he's still watching everything as best as the poor little man fucking can. And then Cody gets out and puts Kenny back into the ring after like slamming him into the guardrail and then into the apron fucking metal bit. And then he scoops him like up, but not in a scoop slam, but like just hangs him up and then slams him down. Colt's shouting that he's a psychopath when Ian asks why Cody's like this. It's probably the only explanation. He's a psychopath, he's a sociopath, he's a fucking narcissist, all of the above. Cody is then arguing, after he rolls Kenny into the ring and commentary going off the nut, he's arguing with a fan, like this lady with lovely dyed hair, and she's fucking screaming at him, like you can tell she's just, she's so badly wants Kenny to win. But Cody's just outright using she was just so angry, she's just fucking shouting at him, and Cody's just like, takes a beer off of somebody standing beside her, maybe she knew him, maybe she doesn't, drinks the beer and then spits it all over her, like Triple H style, and walks away. And I was like, this is why people are jumping the guardrail, Cody, they shouldn't, but fuck me. But yeah, spits all over her, fine, because of all this that's happening. Kenny's had some time to recover, obviously. Kenny gets the you can't escape into the moonsault, which is fucking lovely, but Cody gets his knees up. He then gets a Frankensteiner. Cody rolls to the outside. We then get a Rise of the Terminator, which was great. Gets him in. V-trigger. 2 dragon rushes, like the Snapdragons. He goes for a third, and then Cody counters and gets a disaster kick. He then goes for a one-winged angel, but Cody somehow counters it into a fucking figure 4. And then everything kind of slows down for a while on the mat, and they're just kind of countering each other like submission. It was just a lovely fucking exchange between the two of them. Both of them kind of got up in their own like really weak legs. Cody then gets out and sets up a table, and he goes for a crossroads after the apron onto the table, like, onto the outside. But Kenny fights out of it, and then Cody goes for a pile driver on Kenny, and then Kenny fights out of that, and then hits a dragon rush again, but onto the ring apron, not onto the table. Then Randy's trying to like cheer Cody on because he's like, they've both rolled off, they're dying. He then lifts Cody, and Cody counters and drops him onto this. Kenny like pushes the table there so it's on its side, with its legs like that, tables like that. This is the ground, obviously. Like pushes it over, and I'm not sure why he done it, but then like he goes to lift Cody and probably was thinking the same thing in kayfabe terms, and Cody counters him, like counters the lift, and then like he just lifts him kind of like out the way, and then just drops him stomach first onto the hard part of this table. This table doesn't give in, it doesn't break, it doesn't do fucking anything, and like if that hit his ribs, then oh my fucking god would that have been painful. Like just again, things you don't normally fucking see in a wrestling match. I loved it. Cody then gets the table up, and then they both get into the ring. There was an Alabama slam, and then onto Kenny. Cody gets out and helps Brandy move a table, because Brandy asked for help moving the table closer to the ring, and everybody ignored her. We're like, we're not being part of this. Nope. So Cody gets out, and Cody does it and helps her bring it basically to the edge of the ring. Cody then hits a dragon rush, to which Kenny then hits an inverted Hurricane Randa. Brandy gets up on the apron, and Kenny and Cody are fucking about. Cody gets out of the way, and she gets V-triggered through the table. This poor lady, and Kenny does not miss by any stretch of the imagination. He re-triggers her like right fucking here, and she just goes back, and it looked fucking fantastic. And then Cody, oh fuck, I've lost my, sorry guys. Yeah, Cody's clueless because he's on the ground, has no idea that his wife's just been took the fuck out again, has no awareness of Brandy when he's out there at all. Kenny gets out, like Kenny kind of like sticks his head out and goes out, and he's like, "Are you alright?" Like, sorry, did not mean. Then gets back into which Cody hits a crossroads, and there was a fucking kick out, and I genuinely thought that was it. I was like, he did not just win by ignoring his fucking wife. Flip comes out to help Brandy to the back. Now that's Kenny went to see if she's alright, and Flip came to take her backstage to make sure she's alright. Cody, that's your wife. You should be helping her. Not Flip, not fucking Kenny, you. There was then a superplex off the top rope, obviously. Then Cody started whipping Kenny with his lifting belt the same way Matt had, but then misses the moonsault that he goes for, and then Cody is then using the ref to avoid the V-trigger that Kenny's evidently about to hit. Kenny shoves the ref out of the way, He hits a V-trigger. No, Cody spits in Kenny's face because he's on his knees, but he spits at him. V-trigger's hit. Then another V-trigger is hit. Then he goes for the one-winged angel, but Cody counters that into a vertebraker, which was lovely. But then that was kicked out of as well. Another fight forever chant broke out at this point. They kind of both went for a double cross body. The ref's fucking done because Kenny shoved him out the way. And then at the top of the stage, the Young Bucks appear, and everybody's like, what side are they going to take? Because Matt's wearing his heavy lifting belt. And they came out, and they get in the ring, and everybody's on the ground, and they're looking at the Kenny, and they're looking at Cody, and then they kind of like decide that they're going to do Kenny, and then they're like, no, because they're going for the super kick. And then Kenny kind of like is crawling, trying to get up, and they kind of all end up like in the middle of the ropes. But it's like Kenny, Cody, the Bucks, and they go to super kick Cody as he gets up. Cody ducks the fuck out the way, and they double super kick Kenny. Kenny then gets Cody then gets up and hits a crossroads, and the Bucks are just sitting like, what the fuck did we do? Like, what even happened? It was too much. It was, you could just see in their face, they were like, fuck. And yeah. Cody wins. Cody fucking won after all this, after everything. Cody is now shouting about being the leader of Bullet Club, and I'm just... The Bucks look absolutely disgusted and horrified with themselves. They're just staring at Kenny on his back as Cody goes out and he gets his ring. Doesn't realise the bear isn't there. Doesn't realise his wife isn't there. Just looks ecstatic and fucks off. Matt tries to... they try and help up Kenny. And Kenny's like, no. And then Matt whips him room and he's like, hug me. And Kenny just pushes him and gets out the ring and he's like, nope. You've fucked me up one too many times because of this arsehole, and we've had enough of it. Quite enough. No more of your pish. So he goes away in a huff, quite rightly so, because this was the match that was meant to... Kenny was meant to win this match. Kenny was fucking meant to win. But he's not an ROH person, so why would he? It's the biggest show of the year, Kirsty. Of course Cody was winning, but it was fucking Kenny's match. Like, why? I'm fine. Even the crowd started, like, as the Bucks were going out, started chanting, you fucked up, because you've gone goofed. You've gone goofed big time, and I'm no happy. So Bullet Club is still not fine. And then we swiftly move on to the main event as if we're all just meant to be absolutely fine with everything that just fucking happened. But it's fine, because Marty's out. So the main event is, of course, Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll for the ROH World title. Dalton comes out, he has all of the boys and a backdrop and shiny fucking glittery things on the back, like streamer things, like party streamer looking things. Looked fucking awesome. There was like 6 boys. Lovely, and a lovely new body suit thing that he wears. It was all blue, like this colour of blue actually. It was lovely. Marty's out, he's all in gold, like his whole outfit is all gold, he's got a gold umbrella. He looked amazing, and I was like, yes, I'm here for the pageantry. I love me a good fancy looking entrance. So I was all here for this. Dalton got some like confetti fucking like streamer things, like, well, not confetti, but like when they pop it out, the way they do in fucking New Japan, all of the confetti. But the funny thing was, is it kind of went everywhere, as confetti does. So during this match, they would just randomly have like gold confetti just stuck all over them. But yeah, Dalton comes out with all of these boys. As I said, there was no code of honour. Marty kicked his horn away a wee bit, as he does, because he's meant to be a heel, but we all love him so much. But yeah, it then cuts to Magnus. It then cuts to the crowd like it's fucking NXT, and Nick Aldis is sitting in a full suit, just sitting, And they're like, oh, he's here to cheer on Marty, his pal, because they're both English. And I was just like, this is not NXT. Like, this is not what. Why? But there is a point to him being there, so it's fine. So no code of honour, he's there to support Marty. They have a really nice start off. They're like feeling each other out, showboating, and then they were flatting each other off like children. As this came to an end, the feeling let out, like testing the strength, fucking knuckles, all that good stuff. Marty flips them off, flips off Dalton, like he does that. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on here. Hi guys. Does that to then it gets countered because nothing really happens, but they have a little exchange, and then Dalton puts his hand down his down his trunks, and is like digging, and I was like, are your balls itchy? What's happening here? To which he then digs to find the fuck that he's going to give him, and then flips him off, and I was like, well played, sir. I didn't know what was happening, what he was looking for down there. There's small trunks, there's not a lot of room to hide things, but yeah. So then Marty grabs his finger and goes for this finger snap, but it gets countered. Marty then goes and gets his gold umbrella, because that's the appropriate reaction to being flipped off, to want to hit somebody with a fucking golf umbrella. Todd tells him to put it down. Todd Sinclair, the referee, tells him to put it down, which Marty does. Just puts it down at the side. We'll leave that there for later, because that's what he always does. Why does nobody take it away? Anyway, they then kind of get into this ground and pound into submissions, really nice slick exchange. Now both of them are very well trained in submission wrestling, which is why I was really excited for this match, because their groundwork is just sublime, and it was everything I needed it to be in this exchange. Dalton, what I love about Dalton is he can adjust to anybody he's with. He can have anybody else's match while still making it his match as well. And this was really evident during this match, to the point that I wrote it down. I was like, Dalton is so underrated despite the fact that he's champion. We all love him, but I don't think we all realise just how intricately he can put matches together with people to bring out his strengths and other people's, and I love him for it. But yes, Marty's psychology as well in this match, as he was doing the ground and pound and the submission stuff, he kept working on an elbow, on a wrist, going for the finger snaps, going for the shoulders, because in commentary kept putting over as if Dalton doesn't have his arms and his shoulders, he can't go for the suplexes, he can't lift them for the bang-a-bang, evidently. And it was just really nice psychology, that thing that everybody says ROH doesn't have. The psychology was fucking just perfect. He keeps going for the elbow, obviously to weaken his arm. He snaps the arm over the rope at one point to fuck up the elbow. He smashes him into a turnbuckle at one point, but it's the same arm he keeps going for, he's really working it. Usually Marty sticks to small fingers and small little joint manipulation things, but he was like, no, this is a world title match, god damn it. Commentary also at this point put over the fact that the first time Marty went for the world TV title, he won it. The first time he went for the IWGP junior heavyweight, was it the junior heavyweight he won? Anyway, when he went for, every time Marty goes for titles, he wins first time, which I thought was really interesting to put in midway through the match. But anyway, Dalton from quite early on seemed weakened by the assault that Marty had been putting on. The story they were telling seems to be to this point that Marty's just fucking owning him, and Dalton is fighting with everything he has left in the tank, because so early on Marty's taking most of his game away by taking out his shoulders. They refer to his knee as well that had been weakened in the last, it wasn't a pay-per-view, but the last event that they had, that Dalton's knee had been weakened. So they're he's not showing it, but if he's got a weak arm and a weak knee, it's going to affect how the match goes. It was quite a slow-paced match as well, considering how fast-paced all of the other matches had been tonight. for the most part, maybe taking out Ishii in punishment. Maybe apart from that, that's where. But yeah, other than that, but it was a really slow-paced match. But they didn't drop the crowd. Like, the crowd were still watching and intent. They just weren't going absolutely haywire ballistic the way they had been in the previous matches, especially the one before with Cody and Kenny. But they never seemed bored, if that makes sense. They were just, we'll take a breath and we'll watch what's going on and we'll react when we're supposed to react, kind of thing. They were never lost. They were just watching. Like Japan. It was a very almost Japan crowd. For a lot of the night, actually, they clapped, they stayed quiet, reacted when they were meant to, but then also told Cody to go fuck himself, so, you know, a nice mix. Yeah, so there was a tilt-a-whirl DDT at one point. There was an outside German from Dalton as well. It got Marty into the ring, but every time he seemed to be taking offence to Marty was evading it or countering it. Like, Marty had his number, like, without a shadow of a doubt. That's what this match was Marty had his number and he knew he had it. Almost getting cocky to the point even commentary had said it. It was like an intentional thing during the match. Marty also backdropped Dalton onto, like, obviously in ROH there's the stage and then they have, it's not a ramp they have, it's like actual stairs. And Marty just thought that he'd backdrop Dalton onto that and probably kill him. And I just cringed. The things these men do and women, like the things they do to just impress us and then make us enjoy a match, like, it's because they're real, like, metal. And it's not like you can flat, like on a ramp you can flat back bump it, and you can almost, like, if you lift your hips and bump with your feet rather than your hips, you can almost let your shoulders take that slant. You can't do that on stairs. It just, even thinking about it makes my back fucking hurt. Dalton still just looked exhausted, and then Marty goes over to where Nick Aldis is, and he takes what looks like either scissors or like pliers out of his hand and tries to not be obvious as he rolls into the ring with these bright red pliers and starts snitting off the top turnbuckle, because in ROH it's zip ties that hold it. So he takes them off and slides the turnbuckle away, exposing the turnbuckle. He obviously then tries to hit Dalton's head off of the turnbuckle, but Castle blocks the attempt to hit his head off of it. He's still fighting, but he just ends up like striking, and it's not that he's weak when he's striking, but he is striking, and then you can see it's taking its toll on him, and he's like, very fighting spirit, babyface. It was beautiful. It was as if he was just striking and hoping, is what I've wrote. He drives Marty's head onto the apron, and then does a deadlift German, but it only goes to a 2 count. He tries for another deadlift German, but Marty gets out of it this time, and then he like jumps up on the rope and almost like low blows him. But like, it didn't look like a low blow, but like commentary put it over as a low blow. It was sold as a low blow, so maybe it was just a botch, but I wrote low blow anyway. A wee low blow kick. Marty then goes under the ring and takes far too long, and at this point the crowd were kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? It had been 4.5 hours of wrestling at this point, so come on guys. But yeah, he looks under one side, then the next, and then he goes back again, and everybody's like, even the commentary were like, there's been so many like no DQ matches tonight that maybe there's nothing under there, like just trying to make an explanation for it. But then Dalton ends up trying to go out to do something so that he's not just fucking sitting around doing nothing. And even Marty stands up and he's like, I don't understand what's going on. Clearly he knew where it was meant to be and he couldn't find it. But then he fights Dalton off, throws him back in the ring. Then he finds his bag of powder It's his gimmick at this point, let's be honest. One of very many. He does that, he gets in he takes some powder out of his hand, turns around to put it into Dalton's face, but it has been so fucking long that if this had happened and Dalton didn't see it coming, I'd have probably been angry. Dalton then kicks his hand, and the powder goes all over his own face. Dalton then goes to attack him because it's the best chance he's had, and the ref stops him. And Sinclair's like, no. Like, he's not okay. Let me deal with this first, then you can have your match. And Marty doesn't know that it's not Dalton and grabs Sinclair's hand, bites his finger, and then finger snaps him. And he's just rolling around in absolute agony because he's great at overselling everything. Then there was a bangarang, but Todd goes to count, and he can't count because his finger's broke, and starts screaming in pain, and even the crowd just laughed so hard because it was one of those instantaneous things that we all got. Marty then goes to get the umbrella because the ref is holding his horns. He goes for his umbrella, he attacks Dalton, he attacks the boys. I thought he was going for the Ghostbuster, but he doesn't. It was just a normal brain buster, but the ref takes too long to get there to count, and Dalton kicked out. And at this point, the crowd seemed to realise that who they wanted to win wasn't winning, and started to kind of turn on it. That he went for the chicken wing, and as he went, he shouted for chicken wing, and Dalton popped up and done the peacock feather thing that he does. The whole thing that he does that I love. Dalton fires up. There's a really big exchange. Marty goes for the chicken wing. Dalton kicks out. Marty gets the chicken wing back in. Dalton tries to get to the rope, but Marty grabs his finger and breaks it. Dalton then gets out, and he starts stomping on Dalton's head and goes for a third chicken wing, to which Dalton rolls it over. He gets covered, kicked it out too. Marty then does a super kick. He does another super kick. He then bounces off the ropes, and Dalton hits a bangarang, and Dalton wins. And the fans started booing. I have never, in all my days, in the year and a bit I've been watching Dalton Castle, I don't think I've ever heard Dalton be booed. But there was this instantaneous boo for the crowd. They were like, no, we have not sat here for 5 hours waiting for this match to see Marty win. And you guys know I said I would have been happy with anybody winning, but halfway, not that way where you go, I don't really care who wins, then you get into the match and you go, no, I want this. You realise when covers start happening who you actually want to win. I wanted Marty to win. It was Marty's time, and I don't know if maybe they've got something planned for Dalton where he needs to be champion. He's going on to, maybe this feud isn't done, or maybe with all of the shit with Bullet Club that's happening, Marty's too busy. Basically, there's too much going on with Marty, and they can't put a world title storyline in that. But watching it and being in that moment and not thinking about forward storylines or whatever, it felt like the wrong decision. And I don't say that often about ROH, maybe ever. I don't often go, that wasn't where it was at. But it felt like the wrong decision, and I don't like saying that because I love Dalton and I'm not even mad that he's still champion. But at the same time, I kind of am. Some of the fans, now don't get me wrong, they've been there for 5 hours, but some of the fans didn't even stay to watch Dalton pick up the title, to watch him celebrate. Now again, I don't know if some of those fans were leaving because they could go watch, I don't know, pardon me, I don't know if maybe NXT was still on and they knew they could get there to watch the Johnny Gargano Ciampa match, or what. I don't know about times and stuff. All I know is from what I've seen, Dalton won, fans booed, and then a lot of fans left, and I was like, oh, it felt bad, like, because Dalton doesn't get that reaction. But when they put Marty in that situation, who might be the most over fucking person in the company right now, like, they're going to get that reaction, and I felt bad because it was a really, really nice match, and I enjoyed it. But even the match they were telling, the story they were telling was Dalton's exhausted already because he's been through so much while being champion, that with Marty being fresh and coming in and with all his dastardly heel stuff, there's no way he could win. But he does, and it's a great story. Just not against Marty. And it kinda broke my heart a little bit, if I'm honest. But yeah, that's how the pay-per-view finished, and it was, for an ROH ending, it was odd. I'll say that. Usually I'm screaming, and I think if they did change Dalton and Marty and Cody and Kenny, they shouldn't have. I think the crowd would have been more open to ending the show with Cody winning, even with the way he did, because it was such a hot storyline and it's clearly still going on. And having Dalton retain, because if it hadn't been the main event, people would have been like, well, Dalton's winning, that's cool, Marty can get another chance. I think, personally, I would have anyway. Like, when I seen that match set up, I went, well, Dalton's winning and that's cool, because Cody and Kenny's finishing, and that was what the main draw of the card was. So for them to change it around, I don't think it was, and I don't know if they did change it or if that was just how it was reported, but in my opinion it should have been Dalton and Marty and then Cody and Kenny. And I'm not the person that's like, the title should be the main event, like it should be. I said that 10 minutes, well, however long I was talking about this match, I said that like it always should be. You shouldn't ever end on your crowd booing a fantastic match because they didn't like the ending, because you didn't give them what they wanted, and especially when there's another really good show 5 streets away. I think somebody reported that it was fucking close to NXT, so you better be putting on the show that you know people want to watch. And I do think that that Supercard Honor was a better show, but I don't know if their main event trumped the NXT main event, and that is what should have happened. And I think Cody and Kenny versus Johnny and that would have, but that's all wrestling politics and I don't need to worry. I really enjoyed it. I just wish Marty had won, and so does everybody else, which sucks because we all love Dalton, but it was Marty's time, it's Marty's year, god damn it. Maybe he'll win sometime this year, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see whatever the fuck's happening with Bullet Club. Maybe then we'll go from there. But, I mean, I think I've been talking for about an hour and a half-ish now, guys. It's now 25 to 2 in the morning. So I will go. And, yeah, as always, leave me a comment. Come talk to me on Twitter. My Twitter is here. It should be, like, up there. It should. Up there, I think. Hopefully. We'll see when we edit. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Come hit me up. Tell me what you guys think. What do you think about the ending of this card and where matches should have been, and should Marty have won? The answer is yes. And yeah, come check me out in all the other places. Wrestling with Wrestling, YouTube, all of those. And I will see you later, guys. Bye.